Yeah, I think that
I cheated.
I think in my opinion, I think that the management in the future they will start to do a better job because the town is up to your team regarding doing this. That's what they're hired for.
Yes.
I'm hoping that there's no more incidents that go in part time. I was really just saying this. That's all.
Okay. Okay. I emailed out. I also emailed out all charts that you guys had asked me for, large amounts. I also emailed out the financial sheets. Does anyone need an extra copy? May not have them. A few. Okay. Biggest thing on this, and what I want to point out for October, is don't pay total attention to that bottom negative EBITDA number. Part of that is because, as Marcus has brought up, we've eliminated points for cash and we're going points for free play. And there's a huge jump in free play. Free play is a soft cost. It's not a hard dollar cost, but it has to be put on a financial sheet because we consider it liability. So in the beginning, when you see that number, it's there. It's not, again, it's not a hard dollar out the door. And in the first few months of this changes with the cost per with the points changing and things like that, we're going to see that number elevated. It'll eventually lower out. But the positive is that at the end of the year when you do your financial reports, the amount of points that are still in the system is considered a hard liability. And this helps water it down, take some of it out of there. That when we end up, since we're in fiscal 2025, it'll show, it'll bring that number down. It's, again, as I restate, free play, this isn't like we're in Illinois in a Senate where it's actually a taxable number. It's a soft number, but we have to put it on the financials because it has a soft dollar amount to it. So I at least wanted to let you know about that. As far as the slots, it was a decent month for the slots. There were a couple of drops in there. The fuel revenue went slightly down, but we are keeping a little more per gallon, so we're not losing that money terribly, so that's good. There was a drop a little bit in off-sale. I think it just corresponded with the new store opening up, but I don't anticipate it holding. I really think we'll make most of that money back. We're still very competitively cost there in that direction. Otherwise, as I've looked through it all, if you take that free play number out, there's also a point of where you look at a large number, and I'm going back to it right now. So bear with me, please. We put in the new contractor expenses. We replaced the restaurant's cooler and freezer inside the restaurant, which has been broken for 7 or 8 years. It was paid for out of our ARPA funds, but you'll see the cost we sent to the contractor. But again, since the money came from ARPA, it wasn't like revenue that came in to pay for it. So it goes against the financials, but it still was something that was paid for out of our ARPA funds. So again, it doesn't show as revenue on the sheet. So I just wanted, as you look at that. Okay.
some changes there that sounded like they were solar installed and things like that. So I'm just wondering why the seats are opposite and not.
Well, the slots, you're talking about the increase in the slot revenues, or?
I thought it looked like a decrease.
Well, it decreased in September, went up in October.
But when you look at October to what it was before the decrease, and you're at 508 and 508.
Okay, I'm looking at the revenue, I apologize. Are you looking at the cost? Okay. We also have increased participation cost, since we're adding new machines. It's the cost of the beginning of doing the business, that's why.
Okay, no, that's fine. I was just wondering because
I wasn't sure which line you were looking at.
some numbers, but when you look at the actual numbers there,
Please.
it decreased by
Oh,
5.
I'm sorry. Oh, no, absolutely not. Okay, whatever you need, sure. Yeah, as we've added machines, we're looking at increased participation costs. That's why, for the time being. But what it also does is as we get to this time of the year, which is naturally slower, it helps keep our win per machine, our floor average, at that level. It's better for us, but there's still an increased cost. No problem. Okay. Is there any other questions of anything else I can help with? We obviously, we're expecting a good week this week with the holiday. We're going to that time of the year where our cash positions are getting a little tighter with that we're dealing with and everything else. We had a meeting with the auditors last week and with Mr. Fry, who we hired, and they agreed, which is really good for us. We're going to deal with sending them all their information, instead of them being on site, we're going to send them all their information online. We're talking with them every week. So that's a good thing. We had some NIGC letters last week. And I've been on the phone with the NIGC, and we still got issues, but we're talking. Just copies of this. We have a halfway decent chance, thank you, of the 2024 numbers, which we have to rebuild, will be ready by sometime but in the first couple of weeks of January. As long as we get to the NIGC, the numbers by the end of January, we're in a good position. I think right now we're there. We're about 75–80% done with it. The fuel plaza and everything else, 24 is done. It's just casino paperwork that we're still looking for. I will not lie to you, 2023 is going to be much more of a challenge because we're having trouble locating that paperwork. But we're going to stay on top of it. But the goal still is we give the NIGC 2024, they might give us what we call an exception, which means they got it. They're still looking for things, but it's a much, much larger positive than what was last year before. I can tell you the books have not been closed right in over 5 years. And so that's what we're working on.
Mike?
Question, these correspondence from National League Gaming Commission, you share that with the Gaming Commission, the local gaming
The
commission?
Gaming Commission and the administration,
Administration gets
yes,
all the fees?
they got copies of it.
Okay. Is any of that stuff confidential?
No, I could actually share it with you if you'd like. If anyone wants to, I would ask you just to email me.
So we get a sense of the seriousness there,
Absolutely. I would ask you, because my mind's like a sieve this time of year, if you would email me and ask for, I'll forward the letters to you.
Any other questions?
I just have one question. Really explain to the public how the 86 lift works. Because I had a couple of questions. Like, some people are on there for 5, some people are on there for 6 months. And I guess it depends on the severity, but
Absolutely. I'm actually going to ask Lino, because a lot of this started before I got here, and there's a lot more history. If you can stand up and help with that. Sure. I'll take for that call now.
Security manager, human resources, the county, general manager, Say we'll pick Wayne Humphrey, Chris. Yeah. Chris, hey, I'll see it tonight. Wayne Humphrey, we'll pick James. Well,
we do the paperwork's submitted through, it's reviewed by him, it's reviewed by our 86 committee. We sit down and meet, depending on the amount of what was stolen. If we can catch him in time, we catch him. I'd say good percentage of the time we catch them live. Most of the time, these guys, if they steal something, they're out the door quick. They're down the road. But we got video, we save the video, you do the paperwork, and there are sanctions and there are penalties and steps, depending on the amount, the incident, type of incident. There's violent incidents, there's theft, there's all kinds of things that occur, miscellaneous. Sometimes people get on there for life. We've done things that is, it involves the gaming commission, and the gaming, executive gaming director and the, they get involved. It's pretty serious offense. They have their own exclusionary list. If you get excluded, you're probably not coming back into the casino. And that's them, that's separate from us. We have our own list, and yes, we do have people on there for lifetime. There's some pretty crazy stuff there. I've been in surveillance for 8 years, going on my 9th year, and every year when I think I've seen everything, it's like the casino says, here, hold my beer, I'm gonna show you something else. And something crazier happens. And it's wild out there sometimes. Sometimes we catch it when it happens, sometimes we don't. But we have the beauty of review. I go to my magic 8-ball and look at it, and I get to see the back up to 14 days of what happened. So everything is reviewed. If somebody comes to us and says, hey, so-and-so did this, we go back and review. Look, somebody submits a report. We review the report. Make sure that it did happen. You can't pretty much do anything at the casino on the premises, but it's crazy. People come out there and they do the craziest stuff. Cameras everywhere. That'd be the last place I would want to go to do something stupid, because you're probably going to get caught. And then you're going to be in our video archives. Greatest hits. But, yeah, so there's steps, there's increments, and if you get put on the list, but you can't get removed too, because something may have happened that you did, let's say somebody had alcohol or an addiction problem, and they did it when they were in that phase of their life. They put them up. They've been good for 3 or 4 years. Send a letter to this gentleman. We'll go back and review it. And if it can, we meet about it, we discuss it, and you might get removed. You might get taken off.
We just did this week or so, we've been out for 7 years. He's been clean for a while, contacted me, we discussed it. And starting December 1st, they can come back in the casino.
Yeah, the policies have been developed. Prior to me when I first got on the 86 committee, it was wild. The GMs that were then, I don't like Bill. Put them on the committee, put them on the list. And they arbitrarily put somebody on the list. I worked in traffic court. Hey, everybody has due process. Everybody has a right to challenge things, and we gotta look out both sides. So I helped develop policy, steps, increments, and severity. And I said, if I'm gonna be on this committee, it's gotta be fair. It can't be because my boss doesn't like somebody and put somebody on there. No, they've got to commit an offense according to, like you said, there's policy, it went before the board of directors, they got approved, it went before the gaming commission, they got approved. So that's set in stone. But like we said, he has the authority to take somebody off too, if he wishes to. Every GM's done that. Every GM's done that.
So do they automatically come up for review at a certain time, or does the person have to request to be brought up?
They can request in writing, talk to this guy, talk to the GM. It's like I said, every GM's different. One GM waved the magic wand and took about 100 people off there.
Pardon?
Some of them got, according to the severity, they might get 6 months, they may get 30 days, they might get just overnight. Kathy's out there, she's drunk, causes a scene, but she's never been out here before. First night she came out and celebrated. And, hey, you gotta leave for the night. We give you you gotta leave for the night. Okay. But yeah, it's prior to him coming here, it's been set in stone. And that's what we use, and we go by that. But like I said, you can write a letter, ask to be removed, or have your case looked at. Then I'll have to dig through the paperwork. We keep the paperwork. Since I started, like I did at tribal court, put everything electronic. So there's a file somewhere. You're safe for infinity.
People.
Mike?
Reno, morning.
Morning.
All this craziness that you observed, and for both of you, does that have a measurable impact on patronage and our bottom line?
Occasionally.
Seriously, I mean, honestly, candidly.
That's why some of the severity of the offenses have longer sentences, because we don't.
I mean, has it gotten to a point where some people don't want to go out there anymore because of not a fun place to be anymore?
It could be in certain people's minds, I'm sorry for interrupting, but
You bring it up, so I
Yeah,
sense it's there's
my
some
goal,
seriousness to it.
my goal since the day I started and when we worked together is to make sure everybody feels safe. We are attempting, and it's still an ongoing process. I want security moving around the floor. I want to say hello to people, as I've done at other properties, things like that. I don't want people having to look over their shoulders. Can we eliminate it all the time? No, but the point is, in every local property, this one, doesn't matter where you are, you're gonna have certain people looking to see who won jackpot and things like that. Our goal is to make sure that we have enough people walking around that floor. A customer that doesn't feel comfortable can turn to any one of us and talk. Can I eliminate it? So, can I try and make it more comfortable? Yes. I have the information where it's broken down. But on this, we use it in one line, because with other properties and things like that, it's always been incorporated into one line. As far as you may ask me to supply you, this month, what was the supply, what was the repair and this, I can send you that information out.
Okay.
August, we started bringing the machine. Been in the casino. We brought in 4 new machines for a while, and then 4 more 2-3 weeks later. So that helped with the revenue. As far as repairs and things like that, have had us on a constant basis since I started, preventing abuse, which hasn't been done in a long time. So that number's going to creep up here. We've paid money to put money into some of our HVAC units. We've got to replace them. We have to put money in, so instead of me having to pay $60,000 to replace one, you can get away with spending $15,000 on an annual preventive maintenance. But if you were to ask, if you were to email me, I can separate it out for you. I just use it on one line. Yeah. October the business started slowing up, as you get to this time of the year. And the only thing we're going to see as we get to November and as we get to December, I have new machines coming in December. I've got a Curacao Aristocrats, and I've got we call 4Z Pro, which we saw. We're going to put in 4 more roofs. I want to make my New Year's Eve is my whole goal, and push that. My goal is it will increase a certain amount of our accounts payable because of the expenses, but I'm hoping what it does
Is it offsets with the additional play to keep our levels the same. I don't want them to drop. I'm trying to keep them the same.
Okay, and then bingo, bingo doesn't look like it's very profitable at all.
It's not.
It looks like the employee expenses was high. How many employees are required to work the host bingo?
Usually 4.
Bingo,
I know is a soft spot to a lot of people, but bingo is a profit. So
Okay, it used to be for all our communities.
I understand that. We're trying to make changes, but again, as we're getting to a time of the year, less people that want to travel. You know, who knows what the weather's going to bring up and things like that. But since I've been here, bingo revenues are not that high. Now, do I invest money into it, which I have no problems doing if I increase the customers, and we're having those discussions now. As far as equipment, I don't, we invest in modernized equipment, $25,000. I'm not going to see that for a long time. Price for our customers, I want some, I'm trying to get our people to understand, let's not recycle what we've done. Look what other people are doing. What can we bring into our property? That's what I'm trying to teach them.
Thinking, I was just wondering if people are willing to drive 30 miles for bingo, or that's something that you really need to.
And we actually discussed tracking bingo to a point where people come and spend a certain amount of money, which we can track relatively easy. They can enter something in the last week of the month. The last week of the month in any local casinos, unless of course it's a payday involved or a holiday, it's the slowest revenue week of the month in the casino. So we just started having these conversations. Do we do sense of anyone who maybe hypothetically has spent $100 on cards and bingo to be entered into a drawing until the final week where we'll turn around and give TVs away, different things that these people get involved in, just trying to get the procedures right. And that's something we'll probably start in the New Year's because we got to try something, see what we can do.
Okay, and what's going on with the plaza, the Field Plaza? I've never seen the Field Plaza on the red before, ever. I mean, their margins are very small, always, but I've seen October.
The Field Plaza actually is holding its own right now. When I got here, they were going on approximately a 37-gallon margin, and I've got us up to about 42 to 45 cent margin. It's affected certain sales, but the money in the bank is more. It hasn't gone below it, but now what I have in the Fuel Plaza accounts, I can pay for repairs. We have an EPA repair, which we found out is going to be $25,000 more than other things. So before we just found it, I can pay for this. So it's like an old casino adage. I can make more money off 50 good drugs than 150 bad drugs. Fuel Plaza, keeping a little more per gallon, but we're making more money again.
Do you feel that the truck stops in Valentine are affecting our business at the plaza?
Maybe a little bit, but we have lowered our prices to the point where we're lower than just about everybody in Valentine.
do we have proper signage, out on Highway 83, letting people know that we have our casino there with the truck stop and showers and all of that?
We put it in magazines. The biggest problem with signage, if it isn't there, it's all privately owned land. If we were to set something up, I couldn't bring electricity to it at any such point because of distance it's gonna be from any easement.
Or just need regular, plain old, old school signs, like the wall drug signs that, those pull a lot of people in, so I just.
I would have to add to contact, it's a great idea, but I gotta contact property owners to get that allowed.
Well, down in Onyx. That'll help you find them, okay. Thank you.
Any other questions? Wayne?
When she brought that up and it just made me remember something. Did you change or have you changed the, charging amount at the plaza for the diesel pumps?
We've lowered, as we've lowered the gas prices, we've lowered the diesel prices at the same rate.
No, but I mean, so like, it was last month, I stopped in there, and I was literally waiting to fuel up there. And so my truck, it takes X amount of diesel fuel. Well, I had to run my card like 3 times because it kept topping out at like $50. And then I was like, man, if this is for a regular pickup truck to fuel up, imagine a semi trying to run one of their private fleet cars or whatever, they'd be scanning that sucker about 5-6 times just to get to the 100-gallon mark.
I'll look into it, I did not know.
Yeah, thank you.
Mike?
How big are the fuel tanks out there? The fuel cells is a combination of diesel and gasoline?
I want to say, I believe they're 10 to 12,000 gallon tanks. We, per an EPA, we're supposed to be repairing one where as they dug out, they found out the fuel, I don't remember the terminology, but the fuel in it, it goes into the tanks. Every one of the diesel ones is cracked. They are going to repair, it's only an additional 25,000, but we are going to do with the diesel, because we're going to have to, I'm only going to half fill them, because we're going to have to empty them out sooner or later for them to fix it. They're ordering parts for it now. That information has been forwarded to.
But I asked that question in the sense when I noticed 1 month you sold substantially less gas than what you bought. So there's only 2 things that account for that. Either people are stealing gas or your tanks are emptied at, a certain time of the month, at the end of the month, particularly, and you have to fill them up, top them off. That's about, those are the only 2 things that can account for, fuel purchases being less than sales.
Yeah.
I would think.
They have an agreement with Harms. How Harms does it is.
Yeah, I know how that works.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha. I just recently found that all
But
out.
he just delivers and collects the money. I mean, he doesn't keep track of, he doesn't provide any oversight, does he?
Yep, they actually know the level in our tanks and everything else like that before they send a truck out.
Yeah, but but he doesn't pay attention to whether there's something unusual going on.
No, they just want to make sure they want to make sure they get their money.
Yeah. So he sells and collects his money. That's all he's concerned about.
Yeah, on the credit card sales, yeah, after they get theirs, the balance is swept to our accounts, yes.
Yeah, okay. And what's the turnaround in your credit card sales?
Oh, I see,
Is it
2-3 times a week, additions in certain accounts, and as far as Harms goes, every month, at the end of every month, we get it. Question.
okay, so he comes in, I know you got that set up in a separate account.
Yeah.
Just for his protection and yours, so, yeah. So he gets into that once a month and,
That's where we get credit.
yeah, but that doesn't have any bearing on the numbers
No,
here.
it doesn't.
Sales, cost of goods and the sales.
One question.
Sure.
Thank you. For the food and beverage, I'm just looking at the revenues versus cost of sales. F&B is food and beverage, right?
Correct.
Okay, just making sure. It's a very slim margin.
We're losing money in food and beverage.
Do you know if it's food or if it's beverage and where?
It's more food. We are going to increase prices across the board. What has been happening, obviously, was we have the luxury tax, and I got the sales tax. So I'm the beverage part now.
So if something that's $10, we're actually gonna make it $8.50. We're going to reverse that.
Okay.
I want us, we sell something for $11.50, I wanna make $10, not to go backwards. We need to do on a revenue basis. As far as food goes, we're doing okay in the deli. We were getting killed in the buffet. They haven't raised the prices in a while. Well, food prices go up. We've raised them $2. I am gonna raise them $2 again, $22.95, which is still cheaper than most primary buffets, but we don't have a choice. We gotta bring more into it, yeah.
I think that needs to be done. Have you seen the steak prices in, Valentine?
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay.
They're gonna go up right around the middle of December. My problem is if I did it all at once, I don't wanna totally sticker shock our customers.
Well, one other thing too, a suggestion is, if you want more sales, one of the good things that you could do that most buffet places do is you could call in an order. You can't call in an order there. You can't walk in and say, can I make a plate for takeout? You have to eat there. And, you guys could have made about, I don't know, $60 off of me the other day if you would have allowed me to make a couple of plates and take them with me.
Our infrastructure, the way it's set up is tough. I agree with what you're saying. But
So,
what we are gonna do on the buffet, I just talked to the food service. We're gonna go to primer, just eventually going just Friday and Saturdays. So hypothetically, Thursday could be an Asian night, Sunday could be a Mexican night. We're gonna change things. I could lower those prices and make more money because the cost of food is much less. The cost of primary goods, as we all know, is very prohibitive. And I don't know how to take it out, but if we offer just on Friday and Saturdays, where Thursday and Sundays offer something else, I'm actually opening us up to a whole different demographic.
that's fine, but I'm just saying you guys should consider allowing people to do a takeout too if they're coming through, or if somebody here lives, or going to Valentine in the evening for shopping rather than eating at Peppermill or somewhere there, maybe they'll stop in and grab something from the
I'll
casino.
be more glad to talk with Donald and I just have to find out. Again, I agree with you saying how, from an employee standpoint and how we do it from the inside, make it happen, but I don't have any problems with the idea.
Take stress off your employees there too, because all they need to do is take a payment, go through and leave.
I gotta teach them how to manually put it in the system. I understand what you're saying, the little changes, but it's nothing prohibitive. I just have to see how we can get it.
Mike?
Yeah, traditionally, food is more of a marketing tool than anything, correct? So you break even in this, in the entertainment business. But I see you do pretty well in the beverage department, and that's good because that's where the money's at.
That's
You know,
awesome.
beverages.
They all sell and.
One hand kind of washes the other. You got to take in consideration. They're both consumable.
Any other questions? Okay, move on with your report. Wayne, is that all you had?
Yes.
Okay. Motion to approve by Wayne, second. Michelle, question. Bill, all in favor?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15.
Opposed?
0.
Not voting?
0.
Motion carried.
It's good seeing you. It's good seeing you. It's a great holiday. Thank you. A very nice time. Good seeing you. Great holiday. Thank you. Have a good holiday. I'm sorry.
I'll put it right into a great house.
Sure, you
Child number 86. Thank you.
All right, you know, you get them Indians under control out there, man. Get out there, old Billy Club stick. Hey.
RST, one of the nights when I started the whole thing. Big plan.
Thank you. How about you?
If I started.
So we have Taylor Reeves here from Governmental Affairs Attorney that would like to.
Madam Chair. Yes, question. Before we get started with her, I just wanted to, let council know that we have some people that would like the floor as well. We can get some time after us.
It'll come under the new.
I apologize, all the white papers. My cards. Your team. Yeah. He's great. Has worked to it. We all were in the course of when we first put my mind was sometimes it always be sometimes I will be one short on the side.
They just want to do a question.
Are we get finished with the wait?
Oh, no, not
It would have been good if it's on the agenda.
So that is walking in, then we have to. We have some resolutions. You've been seeing. But pretty good. Good morning, council. Thank you so much for having me today. First of all, I would just like to say I'm really humbled to be here. It's the first time I've spoken. I want to be so if I'm a little nervous, just bear with me. But so again, my name is Taylor Reeves. I am originally from South Dakota. I worked for Senator Rounds on his tribal affairs portfolio for about 3 years, back in 2019 to 2021. So if any of you worked with him back then, I was probably your point of contact. If he didn't like, if he did something back then, I'll just say I was sick that day. But we worked with Tyler Court Center and Kyle Chase too. I worked under them. And I spoke to them yesterday and they said that, so hopefully they would say good things about me. But I'm here because I recently, so I was on the Hill for, again, 5 years, spent around for 3, with Mr. Troy Nellis in the House for 2. And a few months ago, I actually moved over. It's called Porter Wright, Morris and Arthur. They are a firm established in the 1800s, Columbus, Ohio. They, since then, have grown nationally, so they have about 10 national firms throughout the country. I am in their Washington, D.C. office, so handling things from there, and the firm has been very gracious about allowing me to come back and forth between South Dakota and D.C. The reason that I'm here today is because we recently started our tribal affairs practice, which on the white paper will describe some of that. The full out that'll describe our partners within the DC firm. And you know, coming back from South Dakota, again, growing up here, my grandparents were from Parker, drove through Armor, that's where my family comes. So again, just good to be back here out this way today. And we just wanted to see, you know, what kind of commonalities that we share. And I know you guys have, I believe you have representation right now who I worked with in the past. He's wonderful and appreciative. But we do have, as you can see, about 5 partners who's worked within the administration before. We have a former chief of staff, Department of Commerce. We have a former chief of staff at the Department of Homeland Security. We have a person who worked in the White House directly. And then we have me and another partner who he was the chief of staff at the House. Again, I worked mostly on tribal issues throughout the time there. So, just a different perspective than we've seen before. And with the incoming administration, obviously, there has been an announcement of who will head up the Department of Interior, the Department of Education, and just wondering if there's anything, any kind of questions, and wanting to learn from you, kind of what your biggest issues are, and if there might be things that people you want to meet with now that you haven't had the opportunity to meet with, or just kind of what the biggest issues for the tribe are out in DC. Mike?
You mentioned your association with Senator Rounds.
Yeah.
He says he's going to introduce a bill, to do with federal Department of Education and transfer that to states, and giving the money up 3 ways. I think the Interior Department over the other 2.
So it's going to be Interior for his bill. I'm not 100% sure about that. I believe some of you might have went out and met with Lucas recently. With that, what I would say with that, he has a bill that he's introduced.
Well, the states obviously is the other one of them, and there's a
Senator Rand Paul, he's also introduced a bill on that. I know the president-elect has said he just nominated Wyndham for the Department of Education, and I know that is something that still is not confirmed, but something they've discussed. That's something that I would say with our firm, depending on, again, I have worked with Senator Rand in the past. I do know his staff. We don't have as a firm any specific, we aren't positioned on any sorts of bills. We're here to help our clients. And so for that bill specifically, that would be something where if there's someone that you want to meet with at the Department of Education, if there's someone, obviously you meet with Senator Round's office, but if there's people that you want to meet with, on the Education Committee within the House and Senate, I'm not sure if that's something that you've done before. That's something that I would be able to provide for you. And
of course, I asked the question from the standpoint that, what impact it's going to have on any country in our education. Our relationship with the state is always, not that good. And particularly when it comes to education and how we view things. So that's critical.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's something as staff, I'm going to be honest, I was staff before. That's something that as a staffer, you might sometimes overlook how it would affect certain communities, certain tribal communities, certain things like that. Again, that's something that we would be able to help educate other members of the Education Committee as how it would affect the tribal communities in their states and districts and things like that.
And Mike, just so you know, when I was in Washington last week, we did have sessions with Rounds and Senator Warren, and all of the concerns that we do have are primary concerns like law enforcement, roads, healthcare, housing, homelessness, education. A lot of these issues we got to meet with the senators on, and so I brought forward a lot of our concerns, and I did invite Senator Rounds to come and meet with us here at our tribe. So as his schedule permits, he will get back to us and schedule a time to actually come and meet with us. But I just wanted you to know that the ones that we did meet with, all of our concerns, things that we're going through, especially with our law enforcement, all of these issues I was able to bring up and talk to the senators about. And those issues are the same issues that our other Oceti-Sakowee tribes brought forward as well. A lot of the tribes, we're all in different locations, but we all have the same issues and the same hardships and the same needs where we have shortcomings. So a lot of that was brought up last week. I just wanted to let you know that.
Yeah, I'm particularly interested or concerned about education. Because again, transferring those responsibilities and along with the funds that come with that federal level, now down to the state, puts us in a position where we'd have to deal with the state, and that never goes well for us.
Emily.
Thank you. Good morning. Is it okay if I sit? I kind of hurt my back. Oh, thank you. So thank you for being here. Apologies, my questions might be all over the place because I'm not sure, what everything, but I just want to say, I think, first of all, I've only been on council for a year. This is my first term, so I'm still relatively new. My background is in science, so that's probably where my questions are coming from, but I could see really of a need is right now as we're trying to create a team. Yeah. We kind of have, we have some lobbyists here doing really good things. We have some things over here, so we have pockets of really good, but we, in my opinion, trying to get to kind of be a team and work together and really establish what are our visions, how do we get there, and then filling in those gaps. And so for me, from hopefully what a potential partnership could look like or something like that would be, at what level can we fill in those gaps? Because I think we have a broad array of needs, especially from a legal standpoint, as far as policy creation. I mean, I know we don't necessarily need a legal full team for that, but there might be lower level legal teams that could help in policy creation or something like that on a lot of levels here. I think another thing that's really big from the policy part on a national level is how do we ensure that the national policymakers see us and know that, yes, like our president just said, we have so many commonalities, but we are also very unique in how we distribute them and our issues, our economic statuses, all of that. And so how can we ensure that we are seen, but also provide in flexibility? You know what I mean? Like we need some specifics, but also enough flexibility to make Rosebud in all of that. Yep. And so I think that would be a really good thing to have, or even the helping create liaisons between these policymakers, between these higher levels and our tribes, because we have, like I said, we have pockets of really good work doing, but there's many layers of discommunication or no communication. And so being able to connect that and bridge that to those appropriate, whether it's funding agencies, whether it's creation, whether it's enforcement, implementation, there's so many different aspects of that. So just, I guess, those types of things. And then I guess just back to the TA part versus, we have, again, a couple legal teams that we do a lot, but our need is still a lot bigger than that. And so we don't want to duplicate services, but rather how can we all complement each other? So I just wanted to throw those kind of high points out as far as that's what I could see with any potential partnership with this for me. But because I don't know the background and what you're really proposing here, then I'll just stop there. But thank you for coming.
Yeah, thank you for coming. I have how long have you worked for us?
Worked for Puerto Rico?
No.
Oh.
It says that you're currently representing governmental affairs.
Yeah, so that's with Puerto Rico, so that's the law firm that I work for. Again, I work on the lobbying side of things.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry if that wasn't clear. I work on the lobbying side of things. I also am an attorney, so I do handle some legal things, but again, my background and my passion is government affairs since I was in Congress for 5 years. So I've been out in BC since the beginning of 2019, so I'm coming up on 6 years out there. Coming obviously from South Dakota where I was raised. I left probably five years on the Hill, a little over 5 years, so I've been at Puerto Rico since the beginning of June.
So you've been working for us here for beginning of June?
No, I'm not working. I'm just introducing myself today. So I'm right now.
Not our government.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Okay.
I do want to address just one thing that you said, and kind of what sets us apart. You can see on there, and again, I focus more on the government affairs and the strategic side of things. You talked about technical assistance, and as a staffer, and normally I have a team of people with me that have grayer hair and they're taller and they look much different than me. But I was graciously offered to come here today, and so they're happy to talk on the phone if there are any questions that I can answer. I work more on the government affairs side of things, so I'm the person talking to staff on the Hill. I'm the person going in and setting up the meetings with not only your state members, but also people outside of that, just from my context being around 5 years on the Hill. But where we kind of differ from normal lobby shop is we're also a law firm. We also have people that have spent their entirety of their profession dealing with communication. So that's on the press side of things. That's something where you're talking about the cohesive approach. There are people, not necessarily myself, Adam Wolczewski, I believe he's on there, and also Neil Simon. They work more on getting your, presenting the tribe, you know, we do it for all of our clients, but getting you in the media, getting kind of some of your cultural events out into the public, not only in South Dakota, but outside of that. That's kind of their strategy, is getting involved in media, you know, because normally, again, a lobbyist technically just goes to the members from the states. We see it as a more cohesive approach, again, with the issues with education, going directly to the education committees, going directly to the Department of Education and meeting with people, you know, that have been nominated for secretary. You know, depending on your all's feelings on her for education secretary or for the secretary that's been proposed to the Department of Interior. Getting you in to meet, you know, with potentially some of the transition teams. That's where, you know, having people that, you know, I think at least 4 or 5 members on that packet who have served directly in administration, and then also 2 of us who have worked closely now with the incoming Republican administration. We're a completely bipartisan firm, so we have people on both sides of the table. And again, we take no policy positions. We do what's best for our clients. So it's also that, and then finally lobbying press. Just the 100 lawyers of staff we have. You know, I think we're up to potentially 250 across the nation who deal with tax. They deal with education. They deal with transportation issues, energy issues. Just, you know, whatever the gamut of a law firm. We also have that to provide within our services.
One thing I just would say then is the fact, because I wasn't done. One thing that I would just say that bipartisan and is out there and affects everybody right now, since you're not working for us, I won't get into specifics, but try to get them to approve the farm bill in time. Okay.
Sherry and then Mike.
I just wanted to thank you for your time today, and I wanted to address the council to say that we should probably look at what all lobbyists we have now and assess that, and maybe consider this law firm or lobbyist firm as well. But it'd be nice to see like a price list or what you.
Absolutely, I appreciate that. And if you want one thing that I would just say to that, you know, there is the full gamut, and depending on what projects you all need, you know, that's, but if there's a project you think that you're not getting from your current representation right now, that's obviously, you know, we're more than happy, and again, I'm just so humbled and so grateful here with you that, you know, if you think that there's something that I've said that you think that we could do a small project on, we're happy to do that. Obviously, we would love to represent you fully, but again, I'm just so grateful to be back here in South Dakota, and just having been out here before in a different capacity with Senator Rounds, you know, I however that works, that's how the price would stay would be different. So, yeah, Mike.
Given that you're a law firm, what's the convictions when it comes to treaties that particularly the larger tribes have with the United States government?
What's our first position?
What's your convictions, beliefs, basically? Do you believe and respect treaties that Indian tribes have with the
100%.
And what's been your experience? You know,
yeah, I'll talk about. I mean, and I'm going to talk specifically from my perspective right now. I'm not sure I feel 100% confident talking with the firm, and I'm willing to give you a written statement on that if you would like. Again, I'm not from a tribal community. I'm from Sioux Falls. My grandparents, Mitchell and Parker. However, working alongside Tyler and Kyle for those 3 years, they, and Senator Rounds, but mostly with them, and traveling to all the different tribal communities across South Dakota. You know, I have a perspective of respect for trees, 100%. When we were interviewing, or not interviewing, when the senator was talking to Secretary Collins, I'm sure that didn't potentially go the way you all wanted it to. Our position, again, it's not my vote. So I think, but when it came to that, he was mostly concerned with how her understanding of trust land, and he took that very seriously. And I think that learning from him and learning from Tyler and learning from Kyle, again, I have the utmost respect for everything. And again, I can't speak directly from the firm, but I would speak for myself, and that's where we're at.
Thank you. Good morning. Agree with what Cher just said, but since the administration is going to be changing with our president and everything, all our people who are lobbying for us right now, they should come here and give a report, and we should actually give our input as to where we would like them to go for education, farm bill, and make sure they're not duplicating the services up there, because we're the ones that are paying for them. So they should come here and give us all a report. But thank you.
If there's no more questions, okay. Michelle?
So they're talking about all the other lobbies that we have. As far as reporting, how often would you report? Because right now we're not really even seeing reports.
What I would say is, I report how often you all want me to report. If you all want to see my face out here, once a month, if you want to see me more than that,
At our cost?
Yeah, well, I mean, and that's something that we would negotiate within an agreement. We talked about. I think, with just reporting, that's something that our firm provides to our clients as often if you want. If you want a once a week report about what we did with that week, if you want a once a month report, if you want a quarterly report, obviously that's not a cost per report. That's just something we do. Also, I provided each of you my business card. I love all my clients equally, like children. But there are some that, especially self-employed clients that I think, I want to talk to you. I want to talk to you at all points of the night. I don't know who specifically, within the council is allowed to reach out to me and how that goes. But if you all want to call me at separate points a day, that's where I'm coming from. I'm a Midwest person. We're a Midwest firm with Midwest prices. We aren't one of DC lobbying firms that comes here and you never hear them again. And I think that's why my firm's been so generous with me being able to spend a lot of time. So,
Yeah, your POC is usually through the president's office, and then I would bring it to council.
okay.
Lila?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Hindi waste chichapi, dona nagrupta na kapi, ninja wopilai chichapi. My biggest concern, and I think my colleagues could agree as well with other tribes, we have 9 tribes here, as you're aware. The treaty issue is big, and we need aggressiveness in that arena. And so I don't know how much of the work you've done with that, but if we can get something, like a report or something that you guys have done with treaty. And I also see where you've worked with U.S. Senator Mike Rounds in the Senate Committee on Indian Affairs.
Yep.
So, it's a dangerous time for us tribes.
Yeah.
I think we're really, we don't know what to expect yet, but we have been aware now that there's a possibility that there's been threats of coming at us for the treaty. So, that's a really, really big concern of ours here, that we have an aggressive team with up there in Washington to assert our position on our treaty. And so if you could just kind of see if your firm could provide us something regarding on what works they've done with the treaties.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
What and if I may respond to that.
Sure.
I'm gonna be honest. This is when I got there. My passion was tribal affairs, so I'm not particularly sure if they have done anything. The one thing I would say about me, I'm small in stature, but I I can be a lot meaner when I want to be. And not only that, but again, the normal men I have with me, I'm one of only a few girls in the DC office based on how it went. But they are bulldogs. You know, we're all from different places in the Midwest, in Texas, wherever. We're not just DC born and raised. So, I think with that, we are an aggressive firm. And so, you know, I'm happy to provide you, again, I'll provide more information on that. But if we haven't done something specific, I think what we provide you is how we do that. Yeah.
So council, just so you know, we do have different lobbyists for different areas. So each of these lobbyists are in a different area that provide the information that you're asking about. And in the past, we always ask that question, where's our lobbyist? Why aren't they reporting to us? So I will get the list of who all is representing the Sioux tribe right now and ask them to come and give a report. In the past, as a council rep, I always made a motion to ask that they come here because they come, we put them on, then they're out there working for us and we never hear from them. And so in the past, we always asked the president to bring them here to give a report to us. So I'm hearing once again that hasn't been happening. So for my office, I will reach out and schedule a time for our lobbyists to come here and give us updates in person on what they're doing for us as a tribe. Because what comes to us in writing doesn't really give us that opportunity to ask them questions and get the answers we want. So I'll do that for us as a tribe. Go ahead, Totes.
I'd like to get the floor for a community member. She has a question.
Good morning, Taylor. Good morning, Council. I'm Lawanda Stands and Looks Back. I'm from our Tribal Transportation Program. I have a question for you concerning the lobbying. So we have a new administration coming in and Donald Trump is setting his cabinet. And one of the persons that I'm concerned about, all of them, but one of the ones that I'm really concerned about is Kristi Noem being nominated into Homeland Security. And the governor, excuse me, his name is escaping me, from North Dakota, being nominated into the Secretary of Interior seats. Yes. Kristi Noem in general, there's history there, not a good history with the states in South Dakota. So as lobbyists, and you're saying you guys are bulldogs, how are you guys going to go at that if, say, our chair, from the Great Plains Tribal Chair Association and across Indian country come and say, we do not want Kristi Noem in that position. We don't support Kristi Noem in that position. Because often I feel in our government, the tribes we get left out, and we shouldn't, because there's, as you know, 3 elements make our government up: federal government, the tribes, and the states. And so often I feel sometimes we're overlooked on that kind of input. So I'm concerned about it. 1, as a tribal citizen. 2, I'm the end user of all things USDOT processes and things that come out for tribal transportation. That's me. I'm our tribal transportation planner. So what is your guys' angle on that? Should the presidents and across Indian country come to you guys and say, no? I mean, I know we all know that's a congressional vote and the houses will vote that in or say yay or nay, but that's a huge concern for Indian country. So I don't know how many other tribes have spoken about that or brought that concern up, but what is your guys' angle on that?
But
sorry.
No, that's okay. You know, again, I've never worked for the governor's office. I completely understand, you know, I completely understand all your concerns and everything. What I would say, how we would approach that. Again, obviously, the main thing that, you know, maybe potentially your institution would now do is go to the members themselves. You know, I don't know how they're gonna vote on this. You know, I have a few ideas, but I think, again, outside of that, finding a way for the Great Plains Tribal Chairmen's Association to work with other states. And again, I think that goes back to the about communication, getting out there and getting all the tribes across the entire United States together. You know, having you potentially, and this is an idea, don't steal it, you can steal it. But, you know, write an op-ed. You know, and that's something that our firm would provide, is writing an op-ed, getting it in other newspapers across the United States that have, tribal communities. Having them look at the op-ed and explain from your perspective how you all feel as a tribe, having, someone, as a governor, potentially be nominated for a position of, overall look at federal law and explain your concerns there. I think that would be how I would approach that, is not only coming at it from the perspective of you all going to meet with other senators across the United States, but getting those tribes, bringing you all, getting you in front of those other tribes, and then everyone coming together and then going to lobby then their members of Congress with their representation that they have. But again, starting at the floor and getting your voices and your concerns on a national level. And again, not only going to meet with your congressman, bringing, they might go meet with their state senators based on the communications that would be provided, but also working with the other members of Congress. You said transportation. Also, having my former boss, Troy Nelson, might be on that. He's one of the subcommittee chairmen on transportation in the House. Going to meet with his staff potentially later on, going to meet with other members of the Transportation Committee, explaining your concerns, going to the Judiciary Committee and explaining your concerns about law enforcement if she was to be involved. That's the way I would.
Yeah, I guess my point is the big picture of Kristi Noem being nominated to Homeland Security.
Yep.
Personal opinions aside of that, it's a concern, really honestly, of how, once she gets in there, is there going to be any fairness afforded to the tribes? I mean, I'm already concerned about relatives of ours who are immigrants from South America, Mexico, from the border towns. There's a lot of them that are married into the tribes, and that's a big issue. But I'm just curious how lobbyists, lawyer firms and such are going to handle that when it comes to Congress, when the tribes do come and say, she does not need to be in that seat. We need somebody else there who will be unbiased and fair to everybody. So.
And I think we would just also handle it like we handle any of our clients. We have potentially healthcare clients.
Right.
If they're upset about RFK going in and being the secretary there, we would.
Oh yeah, can I speak on that one too? No, I'm just kidding.
No, it would be the same approach.
Yeah.
We don't as a firm take a stance on any secretary
Sure.
going in.
Yeah.
But again, we represent, if your interests
You're lobbying, yeah.
Are not, that we're here to help you.
Yeah, and actually I work very closely with Lucas Heitkamp out of Senator Round's office.
I know he
And
watches,
so-
I know he
Yeah.
watches.
Yeah, so, yeah.
I'm gonna limit us now because your report was supposed to be short.
Oh,
We have a
sorry,
short
thank
meeting.
you.
And just so you know, all of the chairmen that were there on Great Plains, the ones that we did meet with, we did voice our concern on Kristi Noem.
Yeah.
It's not just us here.
Yeah.
It's across the board with Indigenous tribes. But I'm gonna have to cut you off now
Thank
because
you.
we have a lot more people we have to discuss.
All so much. I really appreciate your coming. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for your time.
Half hour.
Thank you for your watching this video. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next on our agenda is gonna be education. They have a resolution that has to be in by the end of today.
Okay, just get some of her information. I didn't get any of it, so like the brochures and
Yeah.
stuff. Miss
Cameron,
Reeves.
one of our public get your information.
Yeah, I didn't get any of her pamphlets or anything, so I was curious about.
Here's my card, and I'm just gonna leave. I have 2 extra cards, so. Anyway, thank you all.
Education,
I just really wanted to say very quickly, I think you all have a copy of the resolution that we wanted
Did you
to
pass it
send
out?
through.
it hasn't been passed out yet.
Okay, and then, we did have
What is it? I mean, why would you need to go up there? Because we try to keep our transparency.
We can do that. It's the Office of Civil Rights.
That's for me.
Oh,
This one's for education.
Yeah, they're.
Oh.
She has it.
Emily?
If you feel comfortable, maybe we could do like an overview before we go off air, but I don't know how much we can at the committee level when we discussed it with the legal that put this all together. They requested specifically that we not be on air because it will be filed in however the.
As long as you explain to the listeners why you want to go off the air and this council all agrees to go off the air, we'll do that. But we'll need council's input.
Is there anything that you can share as well as far as an overview without getting into the details that are going to be privileged in the case?
Yeah, I think, well, the tribal council and the education committee in the past has, up to this point, the tribe has approved 5 resolutions pertaining to education and some of the, like with the governor's office movement of the Office of Indian Ed out of the Department of Education, and how that has disrupted education for Native students in the state. And then with the social studies standards, the rewriting and removing and checking, shuffling out of all social studies standards and then having kind of a push in a different direction, not being inclusive of our history and our background in the schools for our students, not just students on the reservation, but students across the state who should have access to our history. And then also in support of the OSCUs, which have not been, they're supported, but not in a way where all students across the state get access to this.
Okay. So with that,
Why is it important that the public don't need to know that?
Yeah. That who?
is that something that needs to be discussed?
Public.
I would think that this is something we want our public to know.
And they will be.
Hold on, point of order. Bob, Mike, and then Emily. Go ahead, Bob.
Okay, I just wanna know why our Oyate don't need to know that.
They do, and we've done the
So why
work.
are we going on executive session then?
Because of the sensitivity and the privileges of the law.
Well, you know,
From a law perspective.
or anything, agree.
Mike?
Yeah, I guess I just don't understand, I would think that this is one issue where we want our people to be educated because we're gonna need their support. They're gonna have to be involved in this fight, right? And it ain't like we're gonna give away any state secrets. The state's fully aware that we are not on the same page when it comes to how our children learn and all that, what they learn and all that stuff. So this is one topic that our public needs to be aware of
And
and
these,
educated on.
the OCUs are in public hearing right now. So we are getting ready for the second public hearing to happen in a couple of weeks, and then there's 2 more. The standards have gone through a public hearing process. All of that has been pushed out through the state, including our own people. So on those topics, they do know, they have been informed. We've also shared it locally. We have those conversations, we bring those reports to Ed Committee, we've gone out to the public. We do have those conversations with our own local schools.
Emily?
I find that explanation as far as executive session unacceptable.
Emily, and then after Emily, I'd like Eric to put his opinion in before we make our decision.
And just so you guys.
Well, I was just kind of.
That's the floor, Cindy.
I was just gonna kind of already say what Rosemary said about that it is important that our people understand this and are part of this. They have been up to a point with the public things. I think as a tribe, we probably should need to do better in communicating that and supporting our departments and providing things like administrative leave to go to these types of things or involving it somewhere in a time that our people can be, but we're kind of beyond that first phase there. Now we're to the part where legal action is going to be taken in some level. And because of that, the lawyers that are drafting this, because we are the last tribe to sign on for this out of the 9 tribes, every other tribe involved signed on and been a part of this. And because we're at a crucial point in the legal part of this, that's why it was asked that we have our discussions off air. If there's anybody in the community right now who is really wanting to know, please come and sit in on these. We're not kicking anybody out. It's not going to be executive session. But it was just asked to be off air while we talk through the legal aspects of it. When we get out of the off-air part, if there are still some things that you'd like us to explain that we can share or any action that was taken, I'm sure we can do that. Because this is a multi-year, a multi-step approach. It's not just one legal action. There's also a potential solution that has been proposed and drafted and thought of to go along with this. And so, again, I'm one that's definitely open to transparency, but when the lawyers ask you to stay off of the air, then that's when I tend to listen. So I just wanted to kind of reiterate what we were told.
Thank you. Just call our office and talk to Rosemary. Anybody out there that has questions?
And it was just to be off air, correct? It's not
Yeah,
executive
just
session.
just off air. So if everybody's okay, we'll go off air? Yes?
Yep.
Yeah. No.
We need to vote on it? Gonna vote on it?
Yeah.
All right. Roll call. Roll call vote on going off air.
Paul Swan,
Yes.
Christopher Engelberg,
No.
Todd Fairchild is absent. Calvin Wright,
Yes.
Stanley Woodenick Jr.,
Yes.
Michelle Hollowhorn Bear.
Yes.
Royal Yellowhawk is absent. Robert Ravenly,
Yeah, no.
Charles DeBay Jr.,
Yes.
Bill Marshall, Wayne Frederick,
Yes.
Emily Boyd Belandro, Alvin Bearhill Sr., Sherry Wright Plank. Yes. Pamela Wilcox is absent. Violet Kildensight.
No.
Michael Bolt Sr.,
No.
William Kendall,
Yes.
Ben Blackberry III is absent. Marion Little Thunder.
No.
Five no.
We'll go off the air.
both, I would say. So first we just brought this letter of support, and it's to the Procreation Tribe. So I'm not sure if you guys have seen, but there were 38 unmarked graves that were discovered on their reservation last year. And initially they were discovered by digging up for water pipes, and then they stopped digging. And so this came out like the beginning of the month. And so we did write a statement of support to them, just offering, our support and speaking about boarding school education, all that we do at Kogala. But for us, this is so much deeper because of what's coming next. We have a new president coming into office, and that really affects what's going on with like the federal boarding school initiative and the Senate. And so essentially, we met with Chelsea Wilson, who is one of Secretary of Interior Deb Haaland's assistants. And whenever we met with her, it was really sad because this has been something that we've been working on, since we were kids. And so now as adults being, I guess, like at the forefront, trying to work through this, it was really sad because the future is like unknown. She doesn't know what's going to happen. We don't know what's going to happen. And so we talked with her a little bit, and one thing that was discussed was the Secretary of Interior's website. And essentially what they're thinking about doing is taking all that information and either creating their own website or finding a place to store that information, because they truly believe that whenever Trump takes presidency, that's all going to be wiped. There'll be no more information about the federal and boarding school initiative. They don't think that's going to exist anymore. And so that's really scary to us. It's like, obviously we know we're going to have jobs after this, but the efforts and the progress that we've made, we have to start back at square one all over again. And so we're just urging you guys to reach out to the senators, reach out to the House representatives, and continue to urge them to pass the bill. Because if this doesn't pass, it starts all over. This 2-year process goes back to square one. So that's like one thing that we want to talk about, because a lot of our elders, they seen the president's apology and they feel, justice is coming. And in 2 months, we might not know what's going to happen. We don't know what's going to happen right now. So we're just urging you guys to please reach out to them, talk to them. We're also meeting again next month with Chelsea Wilson. If you're interested in being a part of that, hearing from her. They're also going to bring the CEO of NAF, which is the National American Boarding School Healing Coalition, just to kind of inform us what their next steps are going to be, where they want this to go, and how we can be a part of that. So that's pretty much what we wanted, our call to action. And we also would like for, I don't know if it would be council or the president to write their own statement about the unmarked graves for the Crow Creek tribe, and to have that posted as well, just so they know that we support them as a tribe, not just as a Kogala. But yeah, we have it. Thank you. Would you girls come to the next governmental affairs committee meeting so we can work on something? On the 9th. We have got one. Then we can start new drafts and then present them to council. Okay.
Then we can get something to DC from Alex.
Okay. How are you? Okay, ladies. Thank you.
Thank you, ladies.
Oh, now everybody's gonna see me eating. Could you just stay there?
Make sure you guys have something to eat.
Luanda?
Thank you. Thank you.
Sweet pop. I'm just kidding. Sweet fast. I'm just kidding. Oh. When is their finishing?
Yeah, they do that.
Can you send a friend to say that we can eat?
Oh, yeah, here, up this angle, whole fish. Thank you. What's wrong?
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, guys, excuse me for eating.
You're fine. We're also with her too.
Yes, and then also with me to Martina. Good afternoon, Council. Here to interrupt your meeting here, but I wanted to make you aware of a situation, and also I would like some action taken on this. I had Martina pass out this section out of the liquor ordinance, the Title 10 section, and let me put my eyeballs on chapter 2. This is I added to this, of course, and spread this out and added information to it. This went to the Todd County Commissioners a few months ago. And this is in regards to the liquor establishment that's on US Highway 18, right adjacent to where I live, off of the south side of the highway there. I would like to see this liquor establishment shut down. And if that is not an action that can be taken, then it needs to be relocated to a better location. There is a process. There is a process in the liquor ordinance for that. There is information about it in the Title 18 land use. My apologies, I didn't bring those documents, and there's also another document of 177 that talks about having a liquor license and the whole process, the commission and everything that applies to that. I started probably talking about this last fall and just never got noticed or got anywhere as far as our council to take action on it. I realize that the Liquor Commission is a separate entity from the council, but this ordinance that applies to the Liquor Commission, to a license for business name, for everything that applies to it, it's old. I went, after reading and researching everything, that's all 1970s, probably even 60s, some of that information. And we most certainly are not the tribe that we were during that time era. And so one of those ordinances, they need to get updated. And the Title 18, the land use as well, very good document, but it just needs to be updated. If you see on the document I gave you, there's, how many did that break out to? Try not to be too wordy either. 6, 7 points on there. When you look at the actual ordinance, it does state in there that when a liquor license is being sought after, one, you need to consider the need of the area to be served for liquor sales. Number 2, the number of licensed businesses in the area that are liquor establishments, the desires of the community. I can tell you they never came to the Antelope community to get input from my community on what it was that they want. Do we even agree with this being there? That didn't happen. Law enforcement problems. Begging your pardon, I probably should have put emergency response force problems, because when there's an accident there, whether it's deadly, fatal, or serious injury, that is going to take time and money out of our response forces to get there, to respond to the situation, clear it, make it safe, and everything that response forces do. We all know that our law enforcement is understaffed, unfortunately, and probably the ambulance side as well. So that's a factor. I know that wasn't taken into consideration, a law enforcement response. And then to add to that, of course I'm taking that personal because I live right there. I provided a map for you guys too. You know, that stretch of Highway 18 there, that's all residential. That's all homes there. Home sites, allotments. I know that business where that isn't a allotted piece of land. It's not fractionated. So that's why they were able to put that business on there. Didn't have to go to TLE or Solo. I mean, there's actually a process when we want to put a business. But they didn't have to follow it because it's an allotted piece of land, which hence we need to update our ordinance. Because I feel that it doesn't matter if it's a whole piece of allotment or fractionated, it still needs to go through a process to be approved.
You go down to the next one there, of course, I'm talking about our safety there. Walt and Nancy Hernandez live to the east of that. They have an unique area there. We have that dry creek bed and that little dam creek bed back there. That's a spiritual trail. So most certainly the area of the business, our culture, none of that was taken into consideration to me, whenever this was brought to the Liquor Commission, because the business is right there. Character and reputation of the person seeking the license. You know, the folks that went after this license, Chris Boyd is a felon. That's public information. And so he attempted 2 times.
Not mention names.
Oh, I'm sorry. It went to the liquor or the Todd County Commission, which they forwarded that to the state, and the state did the background check. I would like to see if our liquor commission or any commission is going to do that. Why leave it to the state to do those kinds of background checks? The tribe should have did that background check and not leave that to the county commissioners to do those things. There has been gunshots. Yes, ma'am.
Madam Chair, I just have a concern. If we're gonna, what's the process for, somebody contesting a, license that has been issued? And maybe we should go on that, because in the past, we had like an ethics, complaint. And then we heard that complaint, and then that complaint was not, because there wasn't a hearing. We basically violated that person's rights by hearing the evidence. And I feel like you're giving a lot of points, like proving the case. And so we're hearing all of these things, and I get that you're asking questions and stuff, but I just don't want to
violate the due process.
Yeah, thank you. So can we hear this today, or what level can we hear this? Should we refer her to the Liquor Commission? Should we ask the Liquor Commission to come?
Yes. I would like you to have them come here, because I tried multiple times, because I know better, Sherry. I know to go back to the Liquor Commission and say, why did you do this without input from all of us that live here and our community? Why did you do this? Why would a handful of people be given that much authority to make a life-altering decision? Not only for me, but for our tribal members, for our tribal youth. That these ladies here, that's going to be you guys in a few years sitting here making decisions like this. I don't need to get all tight about that, but I am. So I did try to reach out to them. I never got a specific date or place for when they were going to meet. I asked for the meeting minutes for this. There's no transparency. I didn't get any of that sent back to me, and which it should be. It should be transparent. So we're all adults. I'm not going to chase a handful of Liquor Commission people around and say, can you please meet with me? Can you please meet? When are you going to meet? Can I be there? When are you going? Where are you going to be at? So I did try to do that. So I did bring this to Transportation Committee, and I did bring it to Judicial Committee, because all these facts that are.
Did they have, sorry to interrupt you, did the Judiciary Committee have a recommendation?
We wanted to bring it here because. Okay.
Before you, okay, if
sorry.
I can interject, okay, before committees refer them, it would be good if you have them, we are developing in my office, and it's gonna come to council, a complaint form for individuals, for council, and for directors to fill out this complaint form that comes to my office first before it's heard here. That way, situations like this won't occur. Because remember, in the committees, you're recommending bodies, but when you're recommending, make sure that it's not something like this that's going to come on the air that's going to create a violation. So your suggestion is what needs to be done, but also if you come to my office and do a complaint, okay, then we can address it. And then if I would have heard it before it came here, I could have talked to the Liquor Commission first, okay, and then we could have set something up. I understand that what you're saying, that you haven't been being heard. However, a lot of people have been coming to the office, and when they come, I listen to them. But if it's a complaint, everyone that has come to my office thus far, I say, can you put it in writing? And then I will address it. If I need to refer it to the council, I will. If I can address it, I will. So that process is gonna come to council to start filling out when you have a complaint, whether it's on the committee or you as an individual, there is a chain of command that has to be followed. And we need to get back into the practice of that, because if we start hearing things that are gonna violate someone's rights, that's gonna be on our hands. So for that reason, my office is developing a complaint form for directors, for council. If you have a complaint that is on a program, a committee, an individual, whatever it is, it's gonna come to my office first so we can determine whether or not it's a violation of anyone's rights. But at the same time, I can address them for the people, for the committees, for the council.
Would you handle this then, Madam Chair?
Pardon?
Would you handle this then, Madam?
Yes, I will.
Okay.
If you, come and see me, then I will get hold of the Liquor Commission, and your concerns are valid concerns, but it's something we don't want to discuss here. I mean, they are legitimate.
Yes.
Viable complaints, but.
I will do that, and then, but it is a big public general safety issue also.
Yeah.
Is the main reason aside from.
I get it, Laura, and I'm really sorry,
Point of order.
And I'm not trying to be rude, I always get construed as being rude when I'm trying to keep order in the council chambers. But, I don't wanna move forward talking about this anymore until we hear from the Liquor Commission and the other party. It feels like we're going into a hearing. So just for the rights of our commission and, the party that was mentioned, and for you as well, I wanna make sure that we're doing this appropriately. So thank you for coming, and not trying to silence you. I appreciate the information, and there's also some background information maybe we could look into. But if we could hear from the commission as well.
Yeah, I will reach out to the commission. If council is all right with that, I'll take this and I'll deal with it. I'll talk with the Liquor Commission, and I'm sorry, I gotta stand up because I'm short. But, what I'm trying to do is eliminate a lot of things coming here that take time, where it could probably be resolved before it gets here.
Right.
And, a lot of complaints have been coming in. Some of the complaints are, we brought this before and nothing was done, exactly what you're saying. And so that's one of my goals that I'm doing from my office, is as people are coming to me, I'm nonstop all day long. People are sitting in there waiting to talk to me, and a lot of them are complaints of issues, needs, requests that have been brought before and never addressed. So I've been doing a lot to take care of them. My staff helps take care of them. So we're trying to move forward in a good way with them. So this, I will take it on.
My question is to the Secretary. Madam Secretary, have we taken this complaint into file for formally?
This is the first time I've seen it.
Can I move to have this acknowledged and formally in the Secretary's office for record? Move so it's on record.
Second question? Charles, all in favor to put this on record?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14.
Opposed?
0.
Not voting?
1.
Motion carried.
Thank you.
If you come and see me after the Thanksgiving vacation.
I love it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, that's okay. I knew there would be something, so thanks. Thank you. And of course, the fact.
Yes. It's gonna cover everything. It's something new that I'm doing where I can try to eliminate time and at the same time address issues for my office.
I took one of
Because if you guys take some of these complaints, you're never gonna get process. You're violating the chain of command. So that's what I'm trying to eliminate.
I forgot to do it.
Because it's kind of gone astray.
If you can't get a hold of her, Ben will give you one.
Okay, I'll need some, Tina, I'll need somebody to come in and. Have someone come in.
If we ever can, I would talk to the council board, if we ever can find a start, if she's not sure.
council. So just for future, on days like this, when it's there.
Could we start with number three? Yes, we're very original, so.
We're here to the end. Just kidding.
We're going to Mesos, right?
We're gonna start on resolutions now. She just went to get a sergeant at arms, but we can go ahead and start. My sergeant at arms, secretary/secretary, no.
You want me to help?
Are you gonna be our sergeant?
I can do some things.
Oh, you wanna do it? Tina. Tina.
Later.
Yeah.
Shot closes up. It doesn't walk last year, but finally did it doesn't walk this year. Thank you.
Council, I need a motion to make Josh our temporary sergeant of arms until we're done. Motion by Chris, second by Wayne. I don't have a pen, so I can't go put it down. Oh, there it is. And question by Bill.
It's me, Bill.
All in favor?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Opposed? Not voting? Okay, motion carried to have Josh be our sergeant at arms. Tina had a tooth issue, so she had to leave for the day.
Refresher.
14 of us. Yeah, Wayne's not
Are
around.
you counting me?
I better move. I'm confused here.
Get up here where you belong.
Is there only 14 of us?
Oh, 15. Wow. Missed him at the
Personality.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
Council, I just wanted to inform you all that, out of my office, I think I talked about it before, that the funding that had been sitting here for 10 years for the HIP, tribal HIP, our office did meet with BIA. We've had several meetings. We have taken it on. I advertised to people that could be hired under the funding. And so we had, my staff already started taking applications, and it'll be for repairs on trailer houses, super hundreds, transitionals, mutual self-help. There are guidelines to it, but they're giving that out. So we're gonna be starting that project because we have to have so many names before the end of this year. It's jeopardizing future funding because it's sat here for so long. The applications were supposed to be updated every 3 years. A lot of the people on the list that they did have in place, a lot of them have already been deceased. Some people have already gotten homes, home repairs. So I just want to know if you get any questions about it. My office is getting the applications out, so let your communities know. They're gonna go out some more to try to get our numbers up before the end of the year. And then we'll have crews that are gonna start doing the repairs. But I just wanted you all to know that. If you get questions, they can call my office. Okay, first one. Natural resources?
I think she wanted to do the number, what's on Sherry?
My cannabis, the electric tax. Madam Secretary, some clarification on that. This isn't a new law, it's amendment to a law, so does it need 2 readings? I thought it only needs 1, it's an amendment to the law and order code that already exists. Is Eric still here?
Can you see if Eric's still here?
Okay.
Which one is it, Sharon?
It's the short one here.
Is everything new with it?
No, it says that it's just an amendment.
What's amending? Because there's a couple of pages, so I was just wondering, is this all amended?
I don't know, I'm not on the tax commission anymore. Mike, do you know where they amended? It just says.
I'm gonna guess that even the amendment has to be done.
It says, this ordinance needs to be amended to include a luxury tax on cannabis.
So it like fits the alcohol, but then it's amending and saying cannabis.
Well, whatever the voting requirements are for amending an ordinance, they have to be followed.
Yeah, and there are 15 of us in the room.
Should we just do it as a first reading, just in case since Eric isn't here?
Chris, Wayne, Bill.
And we can do the second reading on the.
I would, because we'll have a meeting in a couple of weeks.
Yeah. Count it as a first reading.
Is he coming?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mediator.
Pardon?
The mediator.
Oh, okay. So he's coming.
We look at a different one while we're waiting, or should we just start?
Eric's coming.
Well, he's coming, give you guys all time to read it. Yes, Mike?
On the question of the number of required readings, was that done when the in ordinance 9401 was enacted?
Yes.
Which imposed the luxury tax? So now we're amending the tax code to include, or?
Yes.
To include cannabis.
Okay, but I think only a single reading is required.
It is.
You already did the hearing thing when you imposed the tax at the beginning.
Thank you. Thank you for explaining that. That's what I was trying to say earlier, but I haven't been able to articulate it very well. Hold it, Frank. I know. Because we're amending an existing ordinance. Yes.
It's not new, it's just amended.
Do you think you need to define that it's the medical marijuana so there's no confusion with it?
It states that it's medical.
It just says, this ordinance needs to be amended to include the luxury tax on cannabis.
I have a question.
The ordinance.
Emily?
I just had a question. Well, maybe it's two of them. The first one is it stated that marijuana and cannabis is interchangeable? And I just wanted it goes back and forth. And then the second, I just wanted to make sure to stay current with what our laws say on the medical, whichever one it's called. And then the second one, I was just wondering, I just now started reading it, why there was such a difference between the tax on this versus alcohol. I know other tribes have higher taxes and it's been successful, so I was just wondering why the ours is so low.
I can't really answer why. I recommended that we impose the same, but when I wasn't reelected to the Budget and Finance Committee, then I was no longer on the Tax Commission. So I'm not sure why they moved forward, but we can make that change today to make it 10% to equal with the luxury tax of alcohol sales. And to answer your question about the cannabis and medical marijuana, the title is called Marijuana Ordinance, Title 17, the new ordinance that we read in, or that we adopted. But inside the ordinance, it does address cannabis, and it does give a definition of that, which is why the commission is called the Cannabis Commission.
So I remember at committee, I pointed that out and it's very inconsistent even in the language of that. So I would like us to kind of tighten that part up, because if we are going to be using this from a legal standpoint, I think we need to be clear on what those definitions are, because there is even, there's some other stuff in there that didn't really make sense. So that's why I'm asking.
Okay. Eric, we're discussing this resolution that Sherry's bringing on the ordinance created, the changes in the ordinance, and Mike had a question. Mike?
No, I didn't have a question.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, Sherry.
It was me. I remember in the past, we've done changes to ordinances and adopted new, or law and order code changes, and we've adopted new, and only when it's a new, law and order code, then it needs the 2 readings, correct? Since this is an amendment to the existing
I
code.
have to look. Each, see, the law and order code has a different amendment process than
Yeah,
what's in the
it does.
legislative rules of procedure. Well, if you have a copy here, then I can look at it.
You've never seen this yet?
What is it on?
Table it. Yes.
A lot of the, when you have council on the committees, when you have changes like this in your committees, you need to run them through our attorney before they come to the floor.
So you guys know it, that's not me. I'm not on the commission anymore, otherwise I would have.
Are you gonna give him yours?
Yeah.
Move the table.
I'm not going anywhere until
Move
you.
it to the bottom instead of table it.
I'll come back.
Second.
Okay, motion to table this till the next meeting by Emily?
No,
Move it to the bottom
he
instead of
just
table.
reviewed.
Yeah, because we didn't make one.
Motion didn't, okay.
Hasn't been brought to the floor or anything yet formally.
So next,
Start at 1.
start at which one?
Number 1. The BA, the Natural Resources Program.
When you handed them to me, I know, made them all somehow, so I don't know which one is one.
Is it the 16,000?
The 47,000?
The 24,000?
Hey, I opened it in order.
Sorry. Yeah, it's the 47, and we'll go on number 1, that's cheaper than I handed out earlier.
The single page with the 47,000?
Yeah.
We'll bring it on.
Okay. Wayne's bringing on his emergency legislation, I need a second. Michelle? Question? Charles? All in favor?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15.
Opposed? Not voting? Motion to approve?
Move to approve.
Second? Lila?
What was the number?
What's the number?
Oh, sorry, what's your number?
338.
338?
Yeah.
24, 338. Good, Wayne.
I'll start with fifth whereas. The RST Budget and Finance Committee recommends that the RST Tribal Council approve the submission of a one-time funding proposal to the Bureau of Indian Affairs on behalf of the Rosebud Sioux Tribe Natural Resources Department in the amount of $47,063.22. Therefore, be it resolved that the Rosebud Sioux Tribal Council adopt and approves the recommendation, and we have to strike that, right? It didn't go through BNF, right? Okay. Authorizing the submission of a one-time funding request in the amount of $47,063.22 to the Bureau of Indian Affairs on behalf of the Rosebud Sioux Tribe Natural Resources Program for the purpose of purchasing critical emergency equipment such as emergency lights, sirens, radios for use by the Rangers as required under the PL 93-638 Natural Resources Contract. Be it further resolved that the Rosebud Sioux Tribe accepts the funding amount to be awarded. The Natural Resources Program will prepare the budget for the funding awarded and follow appropriate budget approval procedures. And be it further resolved that the president of the Rosebud Sioux Tribe or his or her authorized delegate is authorized and directed to sign any and all related documents to submit a proposal to the Bureau of Indian Affairs.
Mike, both, all in favor?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15.
Opposed? Not voting? Motion approved.
Move to bring on tribal ranch resolution.
Okay. Do a dollar number up, which one it is.
500,000.
Okay,
Real short one pager.
all right. Motion for emergency legislation by Wayne, second. Sherry, question, Philip, all in favor?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15.
Opposed?
Zero.
Not voting?
Zero.
Motion to approve.
Move to approve.
Second. Sherry? Go ahead, Blaine.
Whereas the Land and Natural Resources Committee, strike that. We will be approving $500,000 for from the calf sale proceeds to buy back more Black Angus cattle, which includes both bred cows and bulls for the Tribal Ranch, with the remainder of the proceeds to go towards buying more equipment for the haying operation and to cover the loss of revenue from our leases due to the growing herd. Therefore, be it resolved that the Rosebud Sioux Tribal Council hereby approves the recommendation. Strike that. And grants approval of the request by the Rosebud Ranch and Farming Enterprise to purchase additional cattle, including bulls, in the amount of $500,000 using funds from the Tribal Ranch budget and sales.
Question?
I just have a quick question. Yeah. Does this follow our procurement processes for financing, like if we're giving approval to buy equipment, like if it's over $25,000, for example, without bids or RFP or anything like that? I just wanted to make sure it follows. Thanks.
I think he's asking this resolution the authority to go out and buy that, but he's still going to have to come back and follow our procedures.
Thank you.
Mike?
Just for information on the new guy, what's the oversight arrangement for Tribal Ranch these days?
They go to,
There used to be a Tribal Ranch board. I assume that no longer there.
right, and the interim board is Land and Natural Committee. They have to report to that, and it has to go to Tribal Council now.
So what was the reasoning for the interim aspect of?
They removed the board in 2015.
Yeah, but then interim board means temporary, you know.
Right, they've never actually put another one in place.
What's gonna happen there, I guess that's what.
That's up to council.
Okay.
But just as the chairman of Land and Natural, since they reported to me and the other board members, now it's on to council, and they're using this money, it's not a loan. They're using the money from their calf sales to purchase more animals.
Yeah,
I wanted to add real fast, if I could, to your question for the board. I just wanted to add real fast that discussion was brought up at Land and Natural, and I think it probably should go somewhere because the interim has been several years, and there's a question right now as far as the board does have its own bylaws and has its own thing, but we're not following it because we have our tribal council as kind of the interim. And so the previous term, some of the Land and Natural Committee members were expressing concern about, well, how long is this temporary thing? We're basically bypassing some of the bylaws by doing that, so.
I think from your committee, you should be doing that recommendation to bring it forward to the council so that can be changed.
Yeah, I'm not the chair, so I just wanted to mention that.
Mike?
I could be wrong, but there was a document that we didn't grant a charter or anything, but they had their own legal setup, and I believe that they when the board made the decisions to purchase and dispose of, and all that stuff, they didn't necessarily have to follow the tribe's procurement, policies and stuff under that charter, if it was a charter or whatever it was, I don't recall. So I just wanted to point that out. I guess the other thing is, who gets to see the financial reports from the tribal ranch and whatnot? I'm assuming they make them,
They submit them to Land and Natural, and it goes out to the council.
Okay, so
There's records.
The council has gotten those in the past,
Yeah.
once a year, I assume.
Who's the chair?
Well, they've been financed a few times.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
So, and as the chair, can you bring that, can you get some movement on that, bring it forward to council? Okay, I need a question so we can vote. Michelle? All in favor?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15.
Closed?
0.
Not voting? So can I leave this with you? I may have to put it on that call. Okay, council, I have to go get on that call I mentioned before with DC, and William's coming to be on it as well, so Nicole will finish off the resolutions till we're done. Oh, no,
Chair.
watch it.
Yes.
Madam Chair.
So if you all want raises, now's the time.
Let's get to the one forward.
Can I ask council how many have to leave? If I could maybe push it to like.
We'll still have, we'll start a quorum. If it's only the four.
I don't know that, I don't know that
Okay, I
we can
didn't
really
make-
have a meeting without you or the vice president sitting up here. I don't think you can. There's no permissions for that.
I'll send Wayne back in then, because I have to be on it as the
I
president.
don't think Wayne can even be presiding officer.
He did last week when I was gone.
Well, I don't think that was legal. My point.
Yeah.
Willie?
Sorry.
Come on, there's no. Well, it's not gonna take
The
that long.
Constitution says that the chairman or the vice chairman presides over council meeting.
Thank you, Mike.
Right.
So we'll take a 10-minute break. It shouldn't take that long. I just have to approve something. I can't tell you about it because it's confidential until DC releases it.
To adjourn.
One
So,
motion that can't.
The people or the council can't even hear.
Basically, we